we made over $18,000 renting out our guest room on Airbnb. So today I'm sharing with you why you should rent out your guest room on Airbnb and best tips for being successful with it. Hey guys, my name is Jen. I am the creator of Modern Frugality, and I'm here to help you do better with your money so you have more of it to do the stuff that you want to do with it. My favorite way to save money is to spend time making it. That is what I said the entire time my husband and I were paying off $78,000 of debt, and I still believe it to this day. I am a side business-aholic. I'm always working on something else to make money. It's my hobby. I love working. It's what I do, and I love coming up with ways to monetize the things that I'm doing, the things I would do anyway. So when we moved into our house, it just made sense for us to turn our guest room into an Airbnb room, and we were really excited to do it. So when we finished paying off our debt and finished taking the tree off of our house that fell during Hurricane Irma, we immediately started renting it out. And in about 2.5 years, we made over $18,000, almost $19,000 after cleaning fees and what we brought in for the regular fee. And you get to keep all of the money that you put up on Airbnb. All of the fees that people that book on there, they pay extra. You pay very little. So that's why I love Airbnb as a side business. I love it so much more than other apps and websites where you do the work for them and they take a huge cut and you end up making less than minimum wage. On Airbnb, you're already paying your mortgage, so you get to turn a room that's underutilized into something that makes you money, and it can help you pay off debt, pay off your mortgage faster, save for great things. We padded our emergency fund and lived off of the income from our Airbnb rental, and we're able to max out our 401k because we didn't need as much of our income. So the possibilities are endless when you rent out your guest room on Airbnb. So I wanted to share with you some of the reasons why we did it, our experience, definitely debunking some myths that I was nervous about, that I'm sure you might be nervous about, and then sharing a few of my favorite tips that I think really helped us get to Superhost really fast and maintain really great reviews throughout the entirety of our hosting. So why would you want to rent out your guest room on Airbnb? You could just get a roommate to put in there. Well, you can actually make a lot more money and have control over your space if you put it on Airbnb. With a roommate, they make themselves at home. They're there for a long time. If you want to have a party or if they want to have a party, you can't dictate when that does or doesn't happen. It leaves a lot of control out of your hands. However, with Airbnb, you get to put that control back in your hands. You can block off dates that you're out of town. You can block off dates you want to throw a party, and you can control whether you want to have people there just during the week or maybe just on the weekends. And then they are always there for a short amount of time, so they never get too cozy. So even though our living room and our kitchen were shared spaces that they could have gone into, they were really just there to sleep and they didn't use them often. And because they're shorter stays, you can charge more for it. So you can make probably as much as a roommate, but on Airbnb, they would be staying there for less than half of the time. So it's a lot more flexible. It leaves you in control. And as a homeowner, that's kind of why you bought a home, because you wanted control of where you live. So don't let a roommate take that control from you. Airbnb can really provide that for you and be a viable source of income. Next is that you meet really cool people. So think about the type of person that would actually stay in a room in somebody else's house. They're gonna be more laid back, chill, or they're not going to be there at all. They're literally just looking for a place to crash. And so those people tend to be the most normal and laid back people on Airbnb versus somebody who's looking to party, they're getting a whole house. Or somebody who's like paranoid about people, they're definitely not going to stay in a house where somebody else is living. So you tend to meet very cool people. We met so many people from Europe, from Asia, from all over the country. Granted, we live in a touristy area, so we got a lot of tourists, but there are a lot of schools, so we got parents and students and all kinds of really cool people coming to us and staying in our home. And it gave us a lot of entertainment. It wasn't just like watching TV every night or going out to eat. We could sit there and have a conversation with our guests, learn more about them, learn more about where they're from, and we just met some very cool people from our experiences hosting them. And finally, you have nothing to lose. It's pretty safe. We've always had very safe experiences. I don't want to say that nothing bad happens with Airbnb guests, but for the most part, you have nothing to lose. You're already paying your mortgage. You're already paying for that space. So even if nobody stays there, you're probably going to set it up as a guest room anyway, so it's just going to sit there. So you really have nothing to lose. This is literally a free and clear way just to make some extra income on the side with virtually no effort. And before we get into tips for posting and having a great Airbnb guest room, I want to address the real elephant in the room. Is it safe to have strangers in and out of your house? And I would say for me, it's a resounding yes, especially if you're going through Airbnb. I'll admit, the first guest we ever booked, I was really nervous. But after that, like I said before, it's just been really cool people. I can maybe count on one hand out of the hundreds of people that have stayed in our house, one hand the number of weirdos. And that's only because they were too extroverted for my taste, but really that's it. And then we've had one bad experience. And every time somebody has accidentally damaged something, all I've had to do is reach out to them via message, always message in the Airbnb app, never via text, but in the app, sending pictures, and they've always been very quick to respond and get it resolved. I've never had to get Airbnb involved with anything. So I've just had very positive experiences. And fewer things get stolen or destroyed when you're living in the house. So if somebody's looking to party and wreck the place or steal stuff, they're typically not going to book a place where the owner is living. They're going to book a private full house. So you don't tend to get those people, and you can kind of control if something that was going to happen. So you can have security cameras in the shared spaces. You can keep your valuables in a safe in your room. You can keep them out of the common areas and out of the bedrooms. If you hear something break, you immediately know who did it, and you can knock on the door and ask, is everything okay? So you really do have control over that stuff. But honestly, it's never happened to us. The worst we've had is some people like to steal rolls of toilet paper. It's multiple people. I don't know why that's a thing, but it just taught me that I only keep one full roll in there at a time, so they don't steal multiple rolls. And that's the worst thing that's happened. And it's usually young people. So that's it. Keep your toilet paper under lock and key. But there are a few things you can do to be proactive. So we set up our booking settings so people had to be verified. So they had to submit a picture of their government ID to Airbnb in order to book with us. And then we also set it up so that people had to have at least one positive review from somebody else on Airbnb in order to automatically book with us. And so those were the stipulations we set up, and we always got really cool, legit people. And if you're worried about cleanliness, you can space out the number of people you see. You can set it up so if somebody books, then it'll block out the day before and the day after they check out, so that you can have time to clean. You can restrict the number of places they're able to go in the house, so maybe just the bedroom and bathroom. Again, that's usually the only places they're going to want to go anyway. And then just have them wear a mask, wash their hands, or sanitize if they're going to be in the common areas. So you can set up rules, and people are typically very respectful of rules that you set up. So it's going to be not as big of a deal as you probably think it will be. But any issues you have, you can always bring them up with Airbnb. Their customer service is typically really quick and great customer service for hosts. All right, a few tips for having a stellar listing that gets booked all the time. The first is to take great pictures. So I usually use the rule 1 or 2 pieces of decorative items in every photo. So that means you don't over decorate it, you have a lot of clean lines, but it also feels homey in every picture, like it's not sterile. So 1 or 2, and I'm taking pictures of every useful thing in the Airbnb room. So I've got a picture of the bed, a picture of the side table with the beach towels in it, a picture of the TV, the place where they hang their clothes. So every picture shows a feature. So it looks like you're getting all of these different things in the room. And then after I take each picture, I'll just go in and go into pictures, hit edit, and then I'll just auto brighten all of the pictures. Brighter pictures will stand out when people are scrolling listings. So you don't want it to be like overly bright, but you definitely want to brighten it from what you have it like just naturally. So bright pictures, a lot of features, 1 to 2 decorative things per photo. Second is to use positive descriptors. So we used words like cozy, stylish, bungalow, cute, clean. So things that give all of your features a positive attribute. And that'll set you apart from people who are just giving plain old descriptors. So you could see in our listing, the title was like cozy modern bungalow or something like that. And it just set us apart right off the bat. And then we made sure to not overkill it, but still use positive descriptors within the actual description. Third, and arguably most important, is get a great mattress. Because when you're sharing your guest room with someone, they're there to sleep. They're not there to hang out, to party, whatever. They're there to sleep. So you could do everything right, and if you have uncomfortable mattress, then you're gonna get bad reviews. But if you have a really comfortable mattress and they get a really good sleep, then people will forgive a lot of things that you mess up on. So having a good mattress is really key. And I think one step further is if you live in a quiet neighborhood, that's something that you should be advertising. So like no dogs barking, no cars like whipping by, stuff like that. That's something that's going to be attractive to somebody who's just looking for a place to crash. Next is to answer questions before they're asked. So the number one question we were getting when people were here is, where's the best place to eat? So on the side table, we put takeout menus to some of our favorite places to eat in the area, along with some like little guides on things to do. Most of the time they were there for work or some kind of event and they didn't get to do them, but a lot of the times they used the takeout menus to figure out where they were going to eat. There is a place to do this on the Airbnb website or app, and you should totally put it there, but most people won't check there, so definitely have it in the room. And for any other question you get asked a lot, print it out, put it in a binder, and put that binder in the room so that people can get their questions answered before they ever have to ask them. And last is to price competitively, but offer more. So when you're starting out, you don't have to price lowest to get more bookings. You just have to look at what the comparable prices are for something like you're offering in your like direct area, and then maybe just offer a little bit more than your competitors. So a lot of the houses in our area are 2-1s, so there were like no private bathrooms. And that was something that we had to offer. We had a guest bathroom. It's not connected to the guest room, but we were like, okay, we could not use that while we have a guest. That's totally fine. So we were able to charge more just by simply not using that bathroom while we had a guest. You can also add a bunch of amenities, like even amenities you don't think people will use because they won't use a lot of the amenities, but they like to see that they're there. So beach towels, curling irons, all kinds of, random stuff. If it's on the amenities list and you have it, put it as an available amenity. Not many people will use it, but they like to see that you're prepared. And we rarely went with Airbnb's suggested pricing. We would always price more. So for us in our area, we price anywhere from 30 to 48, depending on the time of year. Definitely higher 40s in the holiday time, 40s on the weekends, and then weekdays, high 30s usually. But we also added a cleaning fee of $12 for every visit, and our bookings had to be at least 2 nights because I'm not about doing laundry like every night and having these one-night stays. So it had to be at least 2 nights, and I think we had a max of 2 weeks. And people would message us saying like, hey, can I stay with you for a month or 3 months? And I wasn't about that because I didn't want people to get comfortable. So you have a lot of control over your Airbnb booking. And once you get comfortable, you can go against Airbnb suggestions and kind of like play around, make it your own. So those are my top tips. If you have any questions about hosting on Airbnb, then definitely ask me in the comments. Like I said, we did it for about 2.5 years. We became super hosts, and we even did it after the birth of our son, up until he went and stayed in his own room, literally up until COVID started. We lost our very last booking to the international travel shutdown. So we've done it recently. We did it for a long time. So ask away in the comments, and also check out my other videos on how to make money, save money, get a little extra money if you are trying to pay off debt or reach a financial goal faster, and I can help you with that.